You've been listening to Matters of the Mind, a podcast that focuses on matters that affect the mind. I'm Dr. Rick Adams, licensed psychotherapist and professor of psychology and human behavior. Come, join me on the couch as we discuss matters dealt with, matters dealing with, and the matters that we avoid. Welcome to Matters of the Mind. I'm Dr. Rick Adams, licensed psychotherapist, professor of psychology and human behavior. This podcast is devoted to helping you understand how the mind is influenced, how it's influenced physically, psychologically, emotionally, socially, and spiritually through a framework I call PPES systemology. For more than 3 decades, I've been blessed with a front row seat into the minds of humanity. And now it's my desire to use that experience to help, aid, and assist you as well as others through this podcast, Matters of the Mind. Today's matter of the mind is grief, loss, and mourning. Today I'm not going to define what grief is or clinically explain what mourning is. Instead, I want to introduce you to 3 powerful yet practical ways to relieve tension in the mind, but not just your mind, but also in the mind of someone you may love or that you care about. I'm reminded of a college student who approached me after one of my psychology classes. He said, "Professor Adams, may I share something with you?" I said, "Of course." He replied, "I'm getting ready to travel out of state to a family funeral." And he kind of dropped his head a little bit and he said, "My cousin just lost his father and he had passed away of cancer." And he said, "I want to support him, but I don't want to say the wrong thing and I want to be able to say the right thing." Now that's a common question that I get a lot. What do I say to someone who just lost a loved one? Or how do I help somebody who's grieving? Today I'm going to give you 3 simple yet profound ways to support, strengthen, and sustain someone who's experienced grief. But I want to do it through 3 very powerful methods: presence, patience, and prayer. Let's talk about the first one, presence. Your presence is more powerful than the words that you're going to say to anybody who just had a loss. In many cases, the right thing to say is nothing. It's your presence that speaks to the mind. It communicates safety. It also lets them know that they're not alone. The following week, I saw that same student walking toward me, and he had the biggest smile on his face. He said, "Professor Adams, it worked. And I asked him, I was like, "What worked?" He said, "All I did was stay present. If my cousin wanted to go outside, I went outside. If he wanted to get something to eat, we got something to eat. If he wanted to shoot hoops, we went outside, we shot some hoops." Before I left, he said this to me. He said, "Thanks, cuz. That's what I needed. You were there for me." And then he said to me, all I did was simply be present. Now, the second one is patience. Patience is more emotional restraint combined with understanding. The person grieving is not going to respond the way that you would respond. They may act normal 1 minute, but then the next day or the next minute, they're super emotional. Give them grace because everyone processes loss differently. Now, one of the things I rarely recommend that anyone say is this: "I know how you feel." Because the reality is you don't know how they feel. You may understand their pain because you've been through pain yourself, but you do not know how they feel. Patience allows them to have the space to heal without feeling pressure. Now, the third one is prayer. Now, sometimes I hear people say, "Well, all we can do is pray," as if prayer is insufficient or less than. For the Christian, prayer is the direct communication with God, the Father, the one who made everything possible. And through Christ Jesus, if you have that relationship, you have now access to the one who is sovereign, all-knowing, and all-powerful. When you pray, you're not just appealing to limitations, you're appealing to the limitless. For a person to deal with loss, they're going to need divine, not human, intervention. This is why Psalms 34:17 says this: when the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of their trouble. In other words, prayer, specifically your prayer, is heard from heaven, and heaven will respond. So remember, when you desire to help, aid, or assist someone who's experiencing grief, loss, or mourning, try this: presence, patience, and prayer. This has been Dr. Rick Adams with Matters of the Mind, helping you understand the mind so that you can guard your heart and protect your soul. Until next time, be well, be mindful, and stay grounded.
You've been listening to Matters of the Mind, a podcast that focuses on matters that affect the mind. I'm Dr. Rick Adams, licensed psychotherapist and professor of psychology and human behavior. Come, join me on the couch as we discuss matters dealt with, matters dealing with, and the matters that we avoid.